There are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit.
In tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street-smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now. Hey, welcome everybody. It's another edition of The Psychic and the Doc, and I'm Mark Anthony, JD, Psychic Explorer, and I'm co-hosting with my amazing colleague, Dr. Pat Baccili. And Dr. Pat formed the Transformation Network. She's the host of the long-running, award-winning, amazing The Dr. Pat Show. And we've been doing this show for about 5 years now, and we've just won Best Radio Show of the Year 2025, which is on the heels of winning Best Radio Show of the Year in 2024. So we got a great episode tonight. The theme of tonight's show is Remove the Impossible.
Yeah. I'm all over this. I'm ready.
Oh, Dr. Pat, when it comes to removing the impossible, I can't think of anyone better equipped to do that than you.
I'm telling you, we're in the middle of it right now. And, part of it is not really impossible. There was a notion that we'd never be able to have our producers work from home. Each of our producers are professionals. Each of them have studios in their workspace. So what did where the heck that come from? So Bob Parsons, founder of GoDaddy, gave me the idea. And really? I was shocked when I did the interview with him, and he said, yeah. Well, I just looked around me and I'm like, why am I paying for office space? And I just packed everybody up, and we don't need the office space. And I thought, okay, is that true? What do I have to remove in my thinking for that to be true? And here we are. In the world we're living in now in real estate, most of us have studios at home or whatever you want to call it. We learned that lesson from COVID. And before COVID, the remove button wasn't available. You know what the number one Mission Impossible deal was for me?
What?
Prior to COVID, the powers of the 12-step programs, AA, NA, OA, all the A's. I used to beat on the conference tables and say, come on, people, we're online. Why can't you put the meetings on? No, privacy, COVID comes. What do you think happened?
Yeah.
Impossible. So you remove the impossible by something so horrific happening, and you have to let go of why things don't work. Now that genie's out of the bag, and hence the attempt to put that genie back in the bag didn't work. How about you? You got any Mission Impossible removal tips?
Well, yeah, I guess the new Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise is coming out. I've been watching some of the trailers for it. But one of the reasons we have this particular theme is today is the birthday of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And not only was he the originator, the writer, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, he was also a very gifted psychic medium, as was his wife, Lady Doyle. And they were very prominent members of the spiritualist community in Victorian England. And one of Sherlock Holmes, aka Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's great statements is, When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. And that is so great. It's almost so true, because Sherlock Holmes was always solving these really difficult crimes, difficult situations. But when you also look at it applied to any mystery, any dilemma, when you remove the impossible, you have the solution, no matter how improbable. So it was very well thought out. I'd also like to do a shout out to all of our veterans. Monday,
Yeah.
May 26th is Memorial Day. And recently, I was on tour in San Francisco, and with Rocky, a producer here, and my manager, and we went to the Presidio, the National Cemetery, for the veterans there. And on one hand, it's stunningly beautiful. On the other hand, it's so overwhelming to see the grave sites of all these men and women who died, and or are have been in the service of this country. So for all the veterans out there, when people say, oh, I want my rights, I want my freedom, there's a reason you don't get a bill for your freedom, because somebody else already paid for it
Yeah.
with their life. Freedom isn't free. So to all the veterans that are listening and families of veterans, thank you.
Yeah. We don't like to do political things, so we don't. But what we talk about is value systems. And I have worked with VA, you know that. I'm not going to go into that story because I want to get right to the calls today. But I have worked with them. Congressman Jim McDermott was a congressman in our state, such a leader in this area for mental health, but also for other solutions. And I got a call from, I'm not going to mention his name, here in Washington State, part of the VA. And he called me, and I didn't recognize who he was at first. And he said, Pat, we have an impossible situation. I love that. And he said, Dr. Pat, we have an impossible. Do you remember me? And I said, yeah, I do. I said, are you still with the VA? Yeah, I am. I didn't want to be, but I am. I said, why are you calling? His answer was short and sweet. The level of anxiety here that's happening, especially in the LGBT community in the military. He also said the level of anxiety we have with people that are worried about their disability, their Medicare, their Medicaid, and their Social Security. And I said to him, look, we could do one or two things. We could feed the monster, or we can educate the monster. And I said, I'm willing to come down and do a talk, because we need to put things aside that people are worried about. One, if you want to have a voice, but also understand what's not going to happen, where you're not going to lose your stuff. So this is one of these impossible, how do you remove it? And one of the hardest things to remove, but most important, is fear. And that's why I told that story.
Right.
If you're not going to be able to remove the fear, you're not going to be a championship ping pong player.
Wow.
I got a little nerves around the tournament, so you could tell. But from where you sit, what does this topic mean to you, Mark? And then we'll take a short break and go to the phones, because you and I have both had challenges, mission impossible, so to speak.
We have. I mean, I always look at my life as I always liked Lord of the Rings, and reading it, and then the movies, and in the Fellowship of the Ring, where Gandalf has to walk out on that bridge to face that demon, the Balrog. I always felt so many times in my life that I was like Gandalf. When I was practicing law, I'd be up against these insurance companies, these multinational corporations that were just so big, and the Balrog is the embodiment of negativity and fear, and Gandalf has to be the light. And then when I left that, doing what I do now is, when I get out in front of a crowd of people, or I come on this show with you, Dr. Pat, I don't know what's going to happen until it happens. And I'm used to it, and I'm not afraid of what's going to happen, but there is the unknown. And people tend to fear the unknown. And people then also say, well, what you do is impossible. Communicating with spirits is impossible, but it is not. And when you remove the impossible, no matter, you have the solution no matter how improbable. Now, I've been tested in laboratories, studied by scientists, and they're like, well, what you do seems to be impossible, but after we've analyzed everything, there's no way that you could know these things other than the fact you're getting it from discarnate intelligence, meaning spirits. And I'm speaking on behalf of all mediums who do this. So yes, facing the so-called impossible.
Yep.
And look what you've been through in your life. Okay. I mean, the disasters of being homeless and being arrested, and then the struggles with addiction, and that seemed impossible to overcome, but you did it.
I did. And look, everybody goes through this. We're going to take a short break, but there's one actress I really have loved and followed, and I love her work. She starred in Lucy. I think they're going to do a remake. She was Black Widow in the Marvel universe, Scarlett Johansson. She's now in an upcoming dinosaur show. But they talked to her a lot about Black Widow, because out of every character that was killed off, Black Widow was the one nobody wanted to go. And they've tried to bring her back. And she talks about, I didn't think I could play that role. See, there's a level of humility that I think must be established in all of us to achieve great things. It has to be. You do see it in the Mission Impossible movies. Rebecca Ferguson's role in Mission Impossible, when she came on the scene in Rogue Nation, she changed the landscape for Tom. She literally gave a female character that could hold their own with him. But what did it take for her to do that? See, that's what the show is about today. We want to help people remove the it.
Yeah.
Let's go to Nat. Quick, very short break, and then let's go to the phones. We're not going to take a break for the rest of the show, so we're going to go through as many people as we can. Stay tuned. We're going to be back in a minute.
Welcome back to The Psychic and the Doc, everybody. I'm here with Dr. Pat Baccili, and we're going to be going to the phones in just a minute. The theme of tonight's show is remove the impossible. Ask yourselves, how many times have you said, well, I can't do that, or I can't do that because I think it's impossible. Whenever you fall into that pit of I can't do it, end that sentence with the word yet. I can't do that yet. Because then you're removing the impossible. And our good friend Jana Short wrote a book called The Yet Factor, which teaches you how to do exactly that. Remove the impossible. I can't do it yet, because then you're changing your mindset to refocus your energy in, I am going to do it. I may not be able to do it right now, but I'm going to. So that's The Yet Factor by Jana Short. So Dr. Pat, what do you say we go to the phones?
Do it. Perfect.
All right. Our first caller today is going to be Sarah from our great state of Washington. Sarah, you are on The Psychic and the Doc now. Welcome to The Psychic and the Doc, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Great to have you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am facing the impossible, but I'm removing it.
I think we're all facing something.
Well, I'm telling you. But how can we help you today? Because this time is for you.
All right. Well, I just wanted to call in and talk to Mark and see if he can connect me with my grandmother, who passed away about 17 years ago.
Okay, hold on. Sarah, hold on. So first off, Please accept our condolences on the passing of your grandmother. Try not to give me too much information, okay? So let me throw a line out, because what we want to do here, Sarah, is I want to get your grandmother's spirit and whoever else may be coming through for you to give me the information. So that's why I always tell people, don't give me too much, okay? Is that all right?
Okay.
All right, super.
Yes.
Let's see if we can get her in. Was this the grandmother on your mother's side of the family?
Yes.
Okay. Reason being is when my right hand tingles at your mom's side of the family, left hand tingles at your dad's, and right hand was tingling as soon as you said grandmother. So I have a woman coming through, and I'm getting with her that you could tell from her face before she passed that she had a life very well lived. I get a lot of lines in this woman's face. And what I'm getting with her is tachycardia. I'm getting a lot of erratic heart functioning prior to passing. I'm also getting a sharp pain at the bottom of my rib cage on the left side. So she may have been having some issues with her pancreas, which could be pancreatitis, pancreatic cancer, but it could also be diabetes. I'm also getting a sense of nausea, which is an indication that prior to her passing, Sarah, she was having difficulty eating and or holding down food. She did know that she was going to transition. She got to the point where she knew this was happening. And, most people aren't thrilled about that, but she was a very brave and resolute woman, and she was ready when it happened. Does that make any sense to you, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it's interesting you said the number 17, because now I keep seeing 17, 17, 17, and that she passed 17 years ago. But other than 17 years ago, is there a significance to the numbers 1 or 7 or 17 or 71? Now, what I can mean by that is 1 could be the first of any month or the first month, January. 7 could be the 7th of any month or the 7th month, which is July. 17 could be the number 17 or the 17th of any month. And 71 could be a year like 1971, or maybe somebody was 71 years old. Is there anything with 1, 7, 17, or 71, Sarah?
Not that I can think of right now.
Yeah, that's fine. When things like that come up, write it down, and it may make sense to you later on. Hold on. She's concerned about your finances. She said you're looking at your treasure chest. Now, this is a metaphor. It's not like you have a treasure chest filled with jewels and gems sitting in your living room. Maybe you do, but I don't think that's what she's saying. And she said that you're on the fence about frugality versus spending. And she wants to compliment you on your common sense. And she said that she knows you're too wise and too cautious to just splurge on something. In other words, you are very, very cautious, or rather need to be, but I'm getting the sense from her that you're very cautious about not living beyond your means. And I also think, and I know Dr. Pat's going to be able to expand on this, this is not just financial. It's about spending of yourself, your own energy, giving too much of yourself. Doesn't mean being selfish, but it means being measured in how much you give of yourself. Does any of this resonate with you, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. In what way? Now I'll take the cuffs off you. Now you can explain, then I'll turn it over to Dr. Pat.
Okay. I am frugal with money. And I think I do hold back of myself as well.
Okay. Well, grandmother thinks being frugal with your money is a good thing, and you hold back of yourself. All right. Now, Dr. Pat, and for everybody who may be repeat callers or first-time callers, I receive messages from the other side. And what makes this show unlike any other show is Dr. Pat has an amazing ability to interpret these messages and help people understand what they mean. Dr. Pat.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in. I don't know what it is sometimes about some of the people we lose. We have this very emotional reaction, reflection to it. But I do have one question for you. You called in and wanted to talk to Mark, but I guess I want to ask you what's really on your mind.
Well, I just got done reading his book, The Afterlife Frequency, and when I got done reading it, I just thought I have to talk to this guy. My dad also just passed away 7 months ago,
Got it.
and I really feel like I need to know what they want me to know.
Gotcha.
I feel like there's something they want to say to me, and I want to know what that is.
Gotcha. One of the things I love about this call is how, first of all, how open you are. And I want to say this. I don't know if it's your Afterlife book or some of the other books you've done, but Mark really encourages us all to engage in conversation and communication with our loved ones. And because you're so open, I think, Mark, she's perfect to do that, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if I can say, Sarah, there's the 7. You just said your dad passed 7 months ago. Remember I said 1, 7, 17,
That's right.
or 71. There's the 7. There's the 7. So very good. And that also means you are receiving signs from your dad. Sorry, Dr. Pat, I didn't mean to intrude.
No, that's exactly why I asked the question, because that is a sign. And what that really means, Sarah, is you're already in dialogue with them. Don't be afraid to ask them for guidance. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Nat, who's next?
All right. Our next caller is going to be Trish. Trish from New York. Trish, welcome to the Psychic in the Doc. Trish, you are on the show right now. Welcome to the show, Trish.
Hi, Trish. Great to have you here. Welcome to the show. What can we do for you today?
Well, I finished several of Mark's books, and I've called in a couple times before, and recently got a nudge to do 2 things. One, call in and receive a message that apparently is sitting for me, and in addition to that, to go into for more information, apparently, his group reading stuff. So I will be doing that after this call.
Awesome. What can we do for you today?
Yeah. How can I help, Trish?
There's a couple. I'm getting a strong sense that there's a very powerful energy of a loved one on the other side that has a message that I need to know. They know that's been on my heart, and that I'm on the right path. I'm not coming off the spiritual path. Talk about facing impossible. I've been known to be tenacity, Trish. And
I love it, tenacity, Trish. Yeah. I'm sorry, Trish. I didn't mean to interrupt.
There's definitely not. Yeah, there's just not a person on this planet that's going to take me off the spiritual path to deliver, the love and light that needs to come through to get people out of their fear and facing the impossible, because I've had too many near-death experiences, been diagnosed legally blind. I mean, been a firefighter, EMS.
Yeah.
I've seen it all. And I'm just, you know what? I've got to get out, and no one's going to stop me. So I just know there's some direction on the other side that I need.
I get you. This is the energy that we wanted when you called in, because you're right. You have to become unstoppable. And my brand, you're going to hear a lot about unstoppable. I want to thank you for those words. Mark, what can we do here? Because this is the energy we need.
Trish, is there something about boats or the water? Because there's a spirit talking to me about you, about boats, water. And I know you said that, you've been diagnosed as legally blind, but are you planning on going on some type of cruise or boat? I get this whole thing about, I'm seeing you in a, but hold on, before we shoot it all down. If I say boats and water, what does that evoke for you?
It certainly resonates, and it's not going on something, but it definitely resonates.
In what way?
Us very specific. Well, I'm pretty sure that's my mother-in-law coming through to. I had a vision that I was pulling up an anchor, And
There
as I
we
was
go.
pulling up the anchor from the water, I was unlocking each link that I no longer was held down anymore.
Wow. So very good. So you had that vision, and I'm receiving boats. You know, the funny thing is, the image of the boat that I'm seeing is what I would consider to be Noah's Ark. And on one hand, that may be haha funny, but on the other hand, Noah's Ark is symbolic of a lot of things. It's about surviving catastrophe. It's about following the spiritual path. Maybe you have a connection with animals. I'm not sure, but this is very, you're laughing. In what way?
I'm very connected with animals and nature, and I've been seeing the angel numbers 222 and 22.
Perfect.
And
Okay.
that's how the animals entered the ark, was by two.
By twos.
And
All
two
right.
is
That's exactly
also
right.
and two and angel number numerology, angel number and numerology 2 is also regarding relationship, which is where I'm at right now with getting some information.
Fantastic. Okay. So let's see. Is your dad in spirit? And the reason I'm asking that is because there's a male energy coming through on your parent level.
It would be my father-in-law.
Okay. That'll work. All right. So let's see what he has to say. Wow, this guy seemed like he was a real hard worker, real good work ethic, and he keeps using the word ingenue, ingenue, ingenue. Dr. Powell, what's ingenue? That's like entrepreneurial, like creative, right?
Well, I'm going to give you my interpretation of it
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Ingenue is a very sensual word. The people that don't even know what that is, there's a sensuality to it. And usually there is a relationship, something. There's something, when that word comes up for me, believe it or not, it's rarely about that word, but it's about this sort of sensual aspect of this. So when I'm working with people, we don't have a lot of time. So if I were working with you, what you and I would explore is, how's your relationship going? Now that may seem weird, right? But it's just something to think about from a little bit more abstract. But sometimes we get messages that are not exactly direct. What do you think?
It makes perfect sense because that word would resonate with me, learning to love myself unconditionally, me, myself, and I, and putting myself first from here on out.
Yeah. So here's the deal. This is so important. I'm going to leave you with this because ingenue, however people say it, I guess it depends on what country you're coming from. The meaning of this is a young woman, and they talk about it, especially playing in a film, an innocent, sophisticated young woman. Now, when I work with people, you're the lead character. You're representative of something very innocent, but if you're in a relationship that requires you to move that aside so that you can take a stand for yourself, that's when this particular character becomes more powerful. Now, we can't go into a lot of detail, and I don't like to talk about personal things on air like this, but if you're struggling in a relationship, yes or no, if that's you, you really need to look at why you're not taking a stand about it. That's my short version for you.
Exactly. It was a perfect short version, and it was perfect, and it was exactly what I needed to hear from both of you. From
good.
The loved ones on the other side. So thank you so much.
You've got to trust yourself. This is the last thing I'm going to leave you with. I do a lot of couples work, but then I also do a lot of individual work. And I will tell you that the hardest thing to do is to trust your gut.
Yep, I got to trust myself and stay tenacious. No problem.
Oh, now you call back and we'll do a whole show. Let's do a show on tenacity because I've been called that all my life.
Yeah, I like the word. I
love that. That's better than ingenue. I like that. Thank you so much for calling in. Please, we're here to help you. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the opposite of ingenue?
I don't know.
Tenacious.
Let's
go. Come on now, Nat. Let's go.
All right. Our next caller is going to be Lisa from New Mexico.
Perfect. Thank you.
Lisa, welcome to the Psychic in the Doc. Lisa, you are on right now.
Oh,
Hey,
great.
Lisa, how are you?
Hi, Dr. Pat and Mark Anthony. I'm doing great. Thank you.
How can we help you tonight?
Okay, a couple of weeks back I got spooked. Had fallen asleep, maybe been asleep 45 minutes. Felt something get dropped on my legs. And when it woke me up and I looked and I thought, well, maybe my cat jumped on me. But when I looked down on the floor after I turned the light on, my cat was asleep on the floor. So, and other times, I think the same thing has spooked him out of my bed because he's been sleeping with me for years.
Okay.
And now he's sleeping under my bed.
Okay. I'm going to turn you over to Mark, but I just want to ask you a question as you go into this with Mark, and he's going to get you some guidance.
Okay.
Do you understand the
Great.
nature of what your fear was about? Because this is what today's show's about. It's about helping remove the impossible. I'm going to turn you over to Mark. So just Mark's going to really guide you through this, but keep this in mind, okay? Mark.
Okay.
Is there a brother figure, a male that it doesn't seem like you're romantically involved with? Could be a close friend or a brother figure in spirit.
Yes. Well, most of my brothers have passed away already, but
Yeah, hold on. This is a brother. That's why I'm asking you this. This is a brother coming through. Okay.
okay.
And ow.
Wow, what was that?
Was that your ear?
Mark,
Yeah.
you okay?
Yeah, it's whatever that feedback was.
Ooh, baby,
Lisa,
that didn't
whatever
come
you're
from
doing,
us. That's an energy thing.
Yeah, that was some type of feedback. But no, it's coming from the caller. So if you got speakers on or something, please turn them off.
Wow.
No,
Because
it is off. It is off.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is one of these events. I love this. I don't love it for us. This is one of these events that is impossible to explain. It's not Nat. It's not her. It's not you. It's not me. But I'm going to leave it with you like that, Mark, because this is your area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, spirits are electromagnetic energy, and I'm hypersensitive to frequency. That's why, it hit me the way it did. Did one of the brothers that passed have a lot of problems with his mouth or teeth, like really bad teeth, or had to have a lot of dental work or gum issues, Lisa?
No, not that I can.
All right, hold on.
He died.
Go ahead. This could also be something with his mouth, like, always running it, or something like words. There's something. Go ahead.
He was always coughing before he passed away.
That's it.
Yeah, this is him. Okay. And it may sound cliche, but there's a forgiveness issue that he's reaching out. A forgiveness issue. And it doesn't seem that he needs to forgive you. It's more that you need to forgive him. There is a forgiveness issue that he's reaching out to you. And speaking of forgiveness, he said, sorry for disturbing your sleep. He said that it's just that you're more receptive to spirit communication when you're sleeping. And he's giving me, there's some confrontation or friction with him and or your relationship, or going on around him, that may not have included you prior to his passing. And also the number 8, which could be the 8th of any month or the month of August, which could indicate a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to you or him or someone close to either of you within the month of August. Anything there?
Yes, my mom passed in the month of August.
Okay. All right. So that means she's over there with him. Now, what was going on with you and the brother that was coughing a lot before he passed?
Well, nothing that I can think of. I mean, he was a hemophiliac. He stopped walking when he was 5. He passed when he was 24, around there. He was in the hospital when this happened, so I hadn't seen him, and unless I went to the hospital to visit, right? So I can't think of anything,
Well, there is a forgiveness issue here, and I think this is going to
Okay.
be more Dr. Pat's expertise. Dr. Pat, could the forgiveness be maybe the caller as an element of forgiving herself?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things operating. If I could chime in, I know we don't have a whole lot of time. So, what I triggered on is your wake up call from something that scared you at night. You were sleeping, boom, something happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So Mark and I don't believe I don't believe in mean spirits.
No.
Yeah. I do watch a lot of these mean spirit movies, but I will tell you I don't believe in them. But I do believe that what's happening is whenever I am not paying attention of something seriously important, I will get messages in the oddest ways. I really will. Like falling down when I had no reason to fall down. And so that's the first part of it. But when you get a wake up call like that and you're afraid, what were you afraid of? What do you think was going to happen to you?
Well, nothing really, but I was afraid that maybe something evil followed me home because I go to estate. I go to estate sales and I buy stuff, and I thought, well, maybe, they dislike me or something, That's the first thing that came to mind.
You must be watching the same movies I'm watching. But I want to tie that back in. Why would a message come through from somebody that has something going on with the mouth, a cough, right? So that's what I always think of. And I think what is it that you are choking on? See how, boy, I'm real direct tonight.
Yeah, no, I love it.
You got to tell me what you're choking on.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, was choking on a candy.
Not even that. See, now, now you got it. What do you call that affirmation of whatever happens? There you go.
Verifiable following message.
Now we got a psychological verifiable, because choking and then you actually choke. But no, there's something you're spiritually and inside choking about. See, there's something inside of you that seems extremely impossible to overcome. Choking is a reaction. Yes, I don't want you to choke on anything, but this is the message. What is it that's causing your throat to close? What are you shutting up about that you should be talking about?
Well, I guess my schizophrenic son. That could be he's doing.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid?
Well, I'm afraid. Yeah, sometimes I'm afraid. I don't know if I'm going to wake up.
Yeah, because of your son?
Right.
Don't have enough time, but here's what I'm going to say to you. When you're living under that kind of 24/7 trauma, I was in a relationship with a narcissist, and I'm telling you, I know what that deal is like. When somebody is unpredictable, and in my case, threatening to kill my dog and burn my house down, like sleeping is not something you do. But there's something else you're afraid of. So you're afraid of talking to your son. Obviously, your son lives with you. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So you've taken your son in. So you have chosen to live in this situation, which is extremely traumatic.
It's stressful too.
It's stressful is the second feature. Traumatic is the impact. You will second guess yourself. You will try to silence your voice, but you can't. You will say things that any other day or time would have been perfectly to say. Then you'll get in trouble for it. Then what happens is you second guess yourself. Then you try to do something else, and ultimately you become silent and choking.
Right. Okay. That makes sense to me.
But the question is, what can you do about it? Right, Mark? You don't have to answer it on this show because it's a way complex problem for the show. I don't expect you to answer it, but your safety is seriously important.
Correct.
You understand?
Yes.
Now, I'm not telling you to do this, but this is what I had to do when I was in this relationship. I put sensors in the house. This is how paranoid this was, but until I could get out. And I had to put sensors in the house. Like if I'm sleeping at night, I put a sensor on my door was shut. When somebody entered that room, that sensor went off.
Right. Okay.
You
Well,
understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Got it? Camera's not going to help you. Cameras help once. Well, if you want to go back and look at film, cameras help. But if you want to stop something from happening, you have to think about something else.
Right.
Okay. That's good enough for today, because this is a very complex situation that I'm not comfortable giving you any other advice but that one.
Okay, Dr. Pat.
Yeah, that's it. You get yourself a little sensor. Some of them are portable. Nobody's got to know that you put them up on the door. And believe me, if you have cameras watching out for you, you're in a traumatic state. Please take care of yourself, okay?
Okay, I will. Thank you, Dr. Pat.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right.
That is a scary situation. I've been there. People say to me, what the heck? What's wrong with you, Baccili? How did you get in that situation? You're smarter than that. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hello.
You fell in love. Okay.
Thank you.
And we make mistakes. And, look, we plan our careers, we plan our education, but love isn't based on logic. And sometimes we fall in love with people that are not good for us.
Yeah.
And at the time, nothing can dissuade us. And you know what?
Right.
It's part of being human.
And you know what? So many gifts in that. It was the time that I got sober, but also it got me to come to Seattle. Okay, Nat, if I didn't come to Seattle, my life would have been like some retirement village somewhere.
Oh, you became the Dr. Pat Show.
All right, Nat, who's next?
All right, our next caller is going to be Deanne from California. Deanne, welcome to the Psychic in the Dock. Deanne, you are live right now.
Hi, Deanne. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. How can we help you?
Yeah, so I have an impossible situation with my brothers and sisters. And I'm not communicating with them, and it's been okay up until now, but now it's starting to impact the care of my mother. She's 86 years old, and we have to be able to communicate in order to take care of her. And I just wondered if there might be some guidance with that.
Dr. Pat, I think this is a job for you.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you a lot of personal questions because I value your privacy. Do you feel that the dissension or whatever it is with your family, brothers and sisters, is irreparable? You can't repair it.
I think I can, and I just haven't figured out a way. I'm very hurt right now by the situation I was put in, and so it's one of those things where I'm waiting on them to say something or apologize.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, honestly, I went through this with my brother, and I couldn't even get my brother to understand what he did. And it was so blatant. I mean, honestly, it's not any time for the show for me to go into it. And I tried to, and what I did is I freed myself by forgiving. Forgiving doesn't mean you condone. Forgiving means you let go. And so that was my path to freedom. So I'm asking you to consider not condoning the behavior, but not expecting an apology. You may never get it. So forgiving, Monty Renard used to say to me, forgiving is one of the most selfish things you can do, which supports you and another person. And what I mean by that is you got to get good in your heart to just let them go and be who they are. Now, unless this is a situation that has to be resolved, your goal now is to do whatever you need to do suck it up, swallow it to take care of your mom. So your new goal is not your siblings. Your new goal is your mom.
You know, Dr. Pat, if I can chime in, I think
Please.
that's excellent advice. And what's going on here from my perspective, because when I was practicing law, I'd see this a lot. What you have to do is let your siblings know, say, I need your help, and say, this isn't about me. This is about our mother.
Mom.
Take it away from being about you or about them, because let me tell you, everybody, no matter how difficult the relationship with their mother, there's a tender spot in all of our hearts for mom. So the problem here is everybody's entrenched in, well, they did this and they need to apologize. Get rid of that and say, I need your help for our mother. We need to work on this. Dr. Pat, what do you think?
That's exactly it. The focus needs to be less about you and less about the siblings and more about, we all need to come together with an open heart in the best interest of our moms. And that's how you do it. Okay. What can we establish for us to work together? Best situation for our moms.
Is your dad in spirit?
Yes.
He said open door policy, open door policy. Okay, something about the door. I don't know if the door needs to be fixed, but the open door policy, what he's saying is let all your siblings know everyone is welcome here, and we need to work together. And he's reiterating what I said and what Dr. Pat said, is make this an open door policy. We all need to come together for this.
Right. Okay. Got it.
That's where love leads. Love leads. If you can't get back to love of your siblings, and remember, you'll take care of the relationship with your siblings down the road. But this is where love leads. You have to keep your mom exactly in the forefront of what you're doing. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay. That
Thank
makes
you.
total sense. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome. God bless.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. Wow, what a great show.
Yeah, really. I'm going to invite everybody. Please visit my website, afterlifefrequency.com. Sign up for my newsletter, because I got a newsletter scheduled to go out in about 15-20 minutes, because I got a lot of events coming up, including a free online conference June 7th and 8th. Spiritual Awakenings International. It's going to be an amazing conference. I've got an online light circle on June 2nd, plus a whole lot of what's coming up for my U.S. tour. So please visit afterlifefrequency.com. Dr. Pat and I will be back next week. And for the people we didn't get to, and for anyone else who wants to call in, we're going to be here. So please call in.
Thank you all. Thank you, Nat. We'll see y'all next time.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.